Well, one program in our school that I think is definitely on the rise is the men's basketball program, and we had that Long Beach State game last year that was sold out, and it was an awesome atmosphere. But a lot of the time, and for sporting events, football and basketball, the student body isn't as involved or gung ho about just being about Davis sports in general, and
Right.
and basketball definitely is on the rise there. But in general, you feel that just getting a better product is then the students will flock following that.
I think our students are savvy consumers. I think they want to be around. Let's face it, they're here because they're excellent, and they're excellent. And they want to be around excellence. So I think we do have to put out a product that is commensurate with what their expectations are. But I also think it's all about how we activate our students as well. How we get our students engaged. How we as a community reach out to you. So you're right. We saw a snippet of it for men's basketball when we played against Long Beach State. I know it was a game that was on ESPN, and everybody was really excited about it, and that was one component of it. But I thought the great messages that came from that game were even more important in the fact that we had a national stage where they were talking about how great our university was, and I think that's what athletics can do. We're going to do the same thing, if not this year for women's basketball, but next year when women's basketball faces UConn. They're going to play against a national a team that's been the national champions for I don't know how many times in a row and had an undefeated winning streak. So we're going to do it in that sport as well. I think the more sports we can get out there that show that we are competing at the highest level, the more our students will be engaged. And when they see victories, I think the students will really be engaged. So, once again, athletics is just a vehicle to try to produce pride in our community and try to get and to enhance the profile of our university so it can be that national power that everybody wants it to be.
Yeah, Greg and I are actually calling that UConn game, and we're extremely excited to go over there to call that one. Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
I wanna jump gears real quickly to a specific sports. I want to start with football. Obviously, that's on everybody's mind. Obviously, one of your first biggest hires would be Ron Gould, new head football coach for the men's for the football program. I wanted to ask you why. It's a pretty simple question, but it probably has a complicated answer about why you chose Ron Gould and how he stood out among the other candidates for the job.
Sure. It's funny. I've heard that question a couple of times,
right.
and it really does make me kind of think about how the process went. It wasn't a standalone process. I did have a great collection of individuals there helping me with the decision to offer a job with Ron this position. And Coach Gould did he's an amazing man in the fact that I think he represents so much of what our history has been, but he's putting it in a new generation, which is kind of what I think the university's doing. We're keeping our values, but we're moving forward to what we really should be now. So, I mean, when I looked for a coach, I wanted those same principles that Coach Soker had back when we had all of our excellence and our success.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Foster and Coach Biggs. There are so many great coaches that have been through UC Davis. UC Davis is kind of seen as a cradle of coaching. I don't know if many of you know that in terms of how many great coaches who have been through here and have went on to take on other programs. And I was looking for those intangibles, and what I found was each one of those men really valued the individual, and they had a strong belief in the human spirit, and really those folks who people said, you can't do it, they felt a challenge in saying, yes, you can, we can get that done. And Ron exudes that when you talk to him. He has he's very personable, and he's likable, and he really does make you believe that you can do things that you probably shouldn't be doing in terms of athletically or physically. You probably shouldn't be doing that, but he kind of gets you to get there. So I was looking for that characteristic, and Ron, it's all over him. You see it from the day you talk to him. So I think that was the biggest thing I thought of when it came about with a coach and trying to figure out what would be the best fit for UC Davis.
Yeah, and I think that's I completely agree. I think a lot of people are results. They base their opinions on results, and obviously through the first 5 games, the team has struggled a little bit, but I think that's good to hear because Ron Gould, you can't be judged on his first 5 games. I think he has a lot more intangibles to bring, and that kind of leads into this next question, more specifically about the team. Obviously, we're already in the season. We're about 5 games into the season. Probably hasn't gone the way a lot of fans wanted it to go, but last game we saw some of that running back talent that Ron Gould has become so known for over the years. I'm from Berkeley, so I know all about the running backs that ran through Cal. And then the last game we saw that over 200 yards for Gabe Manzanares. Can I get kind of your evaluation of the first 5 games of the season, because it has been early. The team has struggled. How would you evaluate the first few games of the season?
Well, I think we were just waiting until the students got back here in order to kind of show what real football was all about. Once the students came, all of a sudden we became alive.
Great crowd.
Yeah, the crowd was awesome. And having our class of 2017 run across the field before the game was pretty. That was pretty fun. That was really good to see. But I think what we saw is a team that's still trying to understand its identity and what it does well and what it can do. And I think that's what you've seen. In our first game, I think you saw a little bit of that. You have to understand, it's a process.
Yeah.
As you're trying to gel everyone together, not only the players, the student athletes, but also the coaches and kind of the entire operation. So the first game or so, that becomes, just knowing each other and knowing yourselves is a pretty arduous task in terms of just trying to get it in sync. And I think it takes about 3 or 4 games in order for that to happen. I think if there was one game that probably really sometimes you have to kind of drop down a little bit in order to kind of come back up. I think the Portland State game is a perfect example of that. I mean, when you're going into games and at halftime or things of that nature, you're right there, or you're winning, or you're really at the, you're right there at the point of possibly having a victory. And then all of a sudden, kind of the wheels fall off the car. I mean, there's a reason for those things, and that has to do with basically kind of staying grounded and staying calm and staying consistent. And I think Ron is now, along with his coaching staff and his players, are really starting to feel that. So I presume that as we move forward throughout the season, you'll see more consistent play, more victories. Hopefully, of course, you can't guarantee victories, but hopefully more victories, and really more of a product that our fan base and our students will be proud of.
Well, I think that last game they won is the most important one, because that's the one that freshmen see. It's probably most of their first Davis game that they've seen, so that's a good first win to get.
Hey, like I said, it's all about the students.
Yeah.
Everything we do is all about the students. We wouldn't do what we do without our students here at this university, and I think every faculty member, every staff person, every dean of different schools and universities all realize that the students are the most important thing we have here at this university.
Well, Terry, we'll let you go. We want to thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. If you have any final things you want to say, you have the floor.
Well, I think I first and foremost want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak here on the radio and talk to our community. And I know we talked a lot about football, but we have so many other great programs to look for. I mean, you have so much to be proud of at this university, whether it's from women's gymnastics to softball and baseball to our cross-country programs, water polo, swimming. I mean, you name it. I mean, this university has so much to offer, and really the reason why we have it is because of the students and the leadership of the university. So I guess I want to end by saying thank you. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for letting us be a proud part of this community.
Well, Terry, it's been a complete pleasure for us to have you on as a guest. Like I said, to reiterate, you couldn't have been nicer to us throughout the last year that you've been here. So I want to thank you. We're going to let you go. Thanks a lot for being on the program. Hope to talk to you again. Don't be a stranger.
I won't. Hey, go Ags.
Go Ags.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Terry. That was Athletic Director Terry Tumey of the UC Davis Athletics. I thought it was a great interview. We're going to talk about it when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll talk some more Aggie sports on the other side of this break. Thanks all for listening. This is Aggie Talk.